Welcome to rigorous training in longitudinal data science, Radiance. Hello and welcome to this Radiance presentation on ethical considerations for data scientists. This session covers why biomedical and social research needs ethical standards, key ethical principles and issues in research, responsible research and innovation as an approach to foster ethical research, and how data scientists can ensure their research is ethical. Biomedical and social research involves data about people or societies, which are analysed and interpreted with implications for policies and beyond. As users of these data, we therefore need to consider the ethical standards and implications of our work, and we need to ensure that our behaviour is appropriate in relation to both the study participants and those who are affected by it. There are some key principles guiding research ethics, and data scientists should be aware of these when collecting, analysing, and interpreting data. 1. Voluntary participation. Individuals should be free to choose whether to take part in the research, and they should have the right to withdraw at any time. 2. Informed consent. Voluntary participation involves participants making an informed choice, and such choice requires accurate information about the research project before deciding. 3. No harm. Participants should not be exposed to any type of harm or invasion of privacy. 4. Anonymity and confidentiality. Confidentiality refers to separating or modifying any personally identifying information provided by participants from the data. By contrast, anonymity refers to collecting data without obtaining any personally identifying information. Typically, anonymity is the procedure followed in quantitative studies, and confidentiality is maintained in qualitative studies. 5. Privacy. The privacy of participants must be protected at all stages of the research process. 6. Ethical research should include appropriate safeguards for vulnerable populations. Because administrative data are so large and cover long time periods, and sometimes do not contain personal identifying information, it may not be possible to obtain consent from the individuals on whom the data were collected. However, legal routes are available by which data providers can share data for research without obtaining consent. For example, NHS Digital can share hospital episode statistics data with researchers under the NHS Act. You may need to seek advice to navigate these processes. Responsible research and innovation is an approach that seeks to promote ethical research practices. Responsible research should be guided by ethical considerations that are defined by society, and should reflect what society thinks are important questions and whether addressing them is useful. This framework can help us ensure that the objectives, methods, analyses, and interpretations of our research are morally grounded and acceptable to society. Research ethics committees review research proposals and grant ethical approval, which demonstrates that the project has adhered to fundamental ethical standards. Ethical approval is needed for projects involving the collection of new data, and also for those projects involving already existing data that are not completely anonymised or that are considered to be sensitive or confidential in nature. There are also specific laws that relate to research ethics and the use of data in research, such as the General Data Protection Regulation, which involves rules concerning the protection of personal data. The core issues that research ethics committees expect researchers to address as part of the application for ethical approval are outlined here. Firstly, potential risk. Are there any potential risks to the research team, participants, research organisation, project partners or funders? What steps will be taken to mitigate such risks? Who will benefit from the research? Secondly, data management and security. How will the data be collected, stored and protected? And are the data confidential? Will they be anonymised? Thirdly, informed consent. Have participants been informed about their rights to withdraw? Have participants been provided with all the necessary information to make an informed consent? And fourthly, monitoring and procedures. How will ethics be monitored throughout the course of the project? How will unforeseen or adverse events in the course of the research be managed? Unfortunately, there are several examples of unethical research practices, both in the past and more recently. One of the most famous examples is perhaps the Facebook Cambridge Analytica data scandal in 2018, where Cambridge Analytica, a political consulting firm, acquired personal data of nearly 87 million Facebook users without their consent and knowledge, and used the data to build a psychological warfare tool that was used for electoral campaigns in the United States. As data scientists, what should we then consider when we conduct a research project using already existing data? First, we need to understand whether the aims and methods of our research are morally acceptable and important to society. Second, we should consider whether the data have been collected with consent and ethical approval, and whether they contain sensitive personal data. We also need to consider whether our analyses and the way we report the results are ethical. Lastly, we should think carefully about how the results will be used. For example, will the results be used to help people get better care, or to stigmatize particular groups? Here are some actions that will help you to be an ethical data scientist. You should seek to enhance the value of data science for society, and seek outcomes that support the improvement of public well-being. You should avoid harm by working in a manner that respects the privacy of individuals and groups, and by speaking up about potential harm or ethical violations. You should apply and maintain professional competence, ensuring that your research is transparent and reproducible, and you should comply with all relevant legal requirements and professional body codes. Lastly, you should seek to preserve and increase trustworthiness in research by being transparent and honest when communicating about the way data are used. You should engage with a variety of stakeholders, for example patients, and consider public perceptions both from the outset and throughout a research project. In this session, we have seen that data scientists have both a moral and legal obligation to consider the ethical standards of their work, because they use data about people and societies that can have significant implications for health and social policy. We have introduced the concept of responsible research and innovation, an approach that seeks to promote ethical research practices and that can help data scientists to integrate ethical and societal considerations into all stages of the research process. And we have also learned about the role of ethics committees and laws in scrutinizing and regulating research ethics. To be an ethical data scientist, you should seek to enhance the value of data science for society and ensure that the objectives, methods, and implications of your research are ethically grounded. Here are some resources to learn more about this topic. Thank you for watching. For more information, visit our website www.radiance.org.uk.